Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today let's have another look into the Cirrus Vision Jet from Flight FX. It's been a little while since we've last flown this little aircraft, and back then it was quite an amazing thing to fly, but since it came out at a rather unlucky time where the updated working title G3000 and G5000 had just about been released, things got a little bit over the top and other business jets got a bit more interesting. However, today, after the Vision Jet has seen quite a couple of updates, and after it's also incorporating the new system by working title so far, I want to give this another look. Also worth mentioning over here that the developer has updated it to integrate things like the electronic checklist into the working title, and that I have the Navigraph app installed that added chart functionality into the G3000. So with all of that said, here we are on the apron at Lübeck, which is one of the airports from World Update Germany. And we're going to fly from Lübeck towards Kassel, which is also another one of those updates. It's going to be a quick 50-minute flight. You guys know me by now. I might accelerate things a little bit as we get en route. And that's pretty much all there is to say for the intro. So I'd say let's go right into the airplane and get it flying. And then we'll have a nice little day in our lovely business jet. So here we are. First thing you'll notice, we still have the covers on and we've got the headsets lying around here in the cockpit, which is pretty much the state in which you'd find an airplane like this by the time you get into it. So I suppose we first of all start cleaning it up a little. Also note we have the safety pin of the parachute system over here as well. So I suppose we remove all of those and we can quickly open the luggage door to see what things look like from the outside. Back here. So some nice little animations over there in the airplane. Do note this is going to be not an entire full review, but this is more going to be something like an addition to my previous video about this. So we do have headphones available in this plane, and it got a lovely active noise reduction feature, which I am going to show you in flight, but for now let's just put on the headphones so that they stop lying around in the cockpit for us over here. Also, always good to know, we can change the config of the airplane here between an executive, complete, and family config. And what that means, let's have a quick look into the back over here. This is the config we have right now with 5 seats in the back. And we can change this over here, for example, into an executive configuration. And now we have only 2 seats with a little bit more luxury back there. And we can also use this complete configuration, where we are getting, well, those 5 seats like we have them right now. So that's the basic setup that we can use in this aircraft. And of course, I'm simply going to keep mine in the family configuration over here. Also, the door operable directly through the door handle. Quite a nice thing there. And looks pretty well. So this is really good looking airplane if you ask me. So let's go ahead and find out if it flies just as well. Alright, the door is closed and sealed, and then we can go right into our position. I have loaded it up with a full complement of fuel, and that's pretty much all we're going to need. So, batteries on, let's get the thing to start up. It's a standard G3000 system that we have installed over here with all the lovely features of the G3000. However, the Vision Jet developers have enhanced it quite a bit and brought a couple of exciting new features to it. And some of those I want to show you right now, which include, amongst others, the electronic checklist system. So if we go over to the MFD tabs over here, and let's say we want this as full so that we can control the tab over here. And we can find, for example, on the utilities, checklists. And over here we get our electronic checklists for the aircraft. We can control them using that little wheel that we can see over here. So let's go ahead with that. Pre-flight inspection is complete, the door is latched, park and brake set, battery 1 and 2 on, generator 1 and 2 and now on, external GPU as needed, it's disconnected, verify the active FADEC channel is displayed below the percentage thrust indication, it is, we're on channel alpha. Okay, and that's the before engine start checklist complete. So, we don't want to start the engine quite yet, even though we could, but I want to show you a few things down here, which have been added by Navigraph, and one of them is the SimBrief integration. So we can simply go ahead and request our SimBrief flight plan. This is a list of all my last plans, and this is what we're going to fly today. So request that for me, please. Ready, import, import. And here we go. Now the route is completely imported into our navigation system, which is quite nice. Also note, we have the charts available over here, like this. So like that we can view all our charts. And in order to use this, you need an additional app from Navigraph, which you can access through the Navigraph Manager. So just to be sure that you're aware of that. Okay, let's quickly go ahead and initialize our plane. This is what we have. We have actually only one passenger today. And 0 cargo. Synchronize fuel on board. Why is it telling us that we're exceeding the maximum weight? Am I messing something up right now? I don't know. Maybe if we just about go into the settings. I thought I kept everything in line over here, but let's use a little bit less fuel then. 60% should be sufficient. Let's try that once more. And now it looks good indeed. So the zero fuel weight still looks incorrect though. We've got 1 times 170 pounds, so that's interesting. I don't know. I have no idea why this is showing incorrect. Maybe we need a pound of cargo? No. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea why this is showing incorrect. In any case, let's go ahead with the rest of it. We can do the system pre-flight tests.
Higher, 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 higher. Stall, stall, stall.
Okay, so that's our system tests done. Then we've got the fuel. We can do our weight and balance, which is pretty much exactly what we have over here. And our flight plan, which we have done already. Okay, with that, let's quickly go ahead into the aircraft system. So a quick look into the stuff we have over here. So, status pages. And I would say we can quickly bring this over to our left-hand side. That should make things a little bit easier visible. So, say we go to the map, full screen please. Anyway, we can control this from the left side. So, let's go aircraft systems, status and info. Look at that, over here it shows 5,150 pounds for the aircraft weight. So, maybe if we're just about going to the weight and fuel over here, that basic empty weight seems to be incorrect if you ask me. Don't know why, but it certainly does. So yeah, that basic empty weight there seems to be incorrect. No idea why. In any case, let's quickly go ahead, review the other parts of the systems over here. And our battery is slowly draining, which is kind of expected, so we'll continue with the engine start in a few moments. This is just to give you a quick idea. System test is executed already, and we can reset the offsets. Okay, so let's go ahead with our startup procedure. So back into the checklist, engine start checklist. Strobe lights on. Do note the plane doesn't have a beacon, so you need a strobe. Okay, cast messages checked, thrust lever. Idle, brakes, hold, engine knob. We find that down here. Set to run. Then fuel pump, check. We've got the fuel pump on message shown on the CAS. So verify engine start bat temp or engine start volt. CAS message is not displayed. Neither of them is. Okay, engine button press. Here we go. Now the engine is starting up automatically. Okay. Engine starter pressed and the engine instruments are monitored at 25% and show positive N1. We had all of that and the rest of them is looking good as well. Okay, go ahead with the engine start checklists. Engine icing system is engine indication system, all normal. Engine ice protection system as required off. ECS condition panel. So we're simply going to put it on aft control so that the passengers can control everything and the fan into auto. Okay, so ECS panel is checked, external GPU disconnected, oxygen master switch on. So, avionic initialization, let's quickly check one thing. I believe I forgot about the takeoff speeds earlier. So let's make sure that we've got those on. Here they are. Do note, this is the G3000 that we have installed in here. It's not the more complicated G5000 that we find, for example, in the longitude. Okay, so avionic initialization complete. The caps pin. Caps is the parachute system here. And that's the pin that we had hanging here at first, but it is removed and stowed. Passengers briefed, seatbelt secure, bleed switch, which is here the fresh air switch that we have down here, is on bleed. Okay, engine start checklist complete. Let's go ahead and do a quick system setup over here so that we can actually get ready. We'll start on PFD because we got quite a couple of things to change from the default settings over here. So in traffic, we want the HSI map. Just the HSI map. Like that, and I want the Connect radar on as well. Train system absolute is looking good. So back from there, then we can go to PFD settings, and I want the split mode. AOA into auto is good. Flight director, single queue, can't change that unfortunately. Synthetic vision, I'll be honest with ya, I never really liked it. For that reason, I'm going to keep it off. But what we can do is wind, option 3, time from out UTC is good. Panel spacing certainly 8.33, and we want hectopascals. Okay. Okay, so that's basically that setup here completed. Nav source FMS, we don't need any bearings as we'll be flying all RNAV. Okay then. We can go ahead with our checklists and with a quick briefing over here. So look at that, it automatically collected the correct charts for us here, but this is really what we're interested in. So if we have a look, we are parking in the main apron, departure runway 07, so we just turn out to the right, and we can have a quick look at that in the parking stance as well, parking over here. So out to the right, Zulu 1 Alpha, and then we are at our departure runway already. And the SIDs, let's have a quick look into what they have in here. It's the Hamburg 1 Alpha departure. And we have that active here already. So, Hamburg 1 Alpha. Transition altitude 5000, RNAV 1 required, and max 250 below 100. That is as expected, really. Then initial climb clearance to 5,000 feet, so let's go ahead and pre-select that. Here we go, 5,000 feet. And for the routing, 500 feet, Hotel Lima 013, that's 500, 013, which is an overfly waypoint. Then we have 015, maximum 230 knots. That's 015, 230 knots. And then towards Hotel Alpha Mike. And in here we have Hotel Alpha Mike. Okay, so that is our setup pretty much completed. Then let's go ahead and go... Oops, I didn't need to rotate the chart. Let's go ahead and get our taxi chart, which is going to be most interesting for us at this stage in the flight. Okay, got a ProPeat warning here. We'll deal with that in a few moments. The QNH can be selected 1022. And finally, we need our toga. That's something I found a little interesting here, but I found the click spot. Okay, perfect. Right, and with that, our setup is done. What we can also do is a quick setup of our navigation map over here, because there are a couple of settings I like to turn on, which is obviously going to be traffic. I want the weather radar, which is a downloaded thing, so for this one, the Asobo weather radar is actually quite alright. Okay, that's that stuff, and other selected altitude to range arc, I certainly want that on. Okay. And finally, I want my little insert window here, which has the flight plan text and the VNAV profile for me. And that's pretty much all we need. So from here, let's go ahead and split this one into half. And I want to calculate. I want to work on the left side to be sure. This is a little bit something that I haven't fully understood yet. So if I close this, and then go to MFD over here, and I'm able to control the left side. So that's something that I still struggle with a little bit. But I'm sure there's a logic behind that I just don't get. So let's go ahead and do the before taxi checklist. Nav, com nav GPS, set. 80% clearance obtained, altimeter set and checked, transponder. Yeah, we might as well set something over there, even though we are not flying online, so for that reason I'm just going to put it in the standard IFR score, and I'm not even going to bother with the frequencies. For good measure, let's put Honeycomb active, and on COM2 let's put the guard frequency active, but that's really flying offline, so what's the use of it? So, transponder set, heading and initial altitude are set, flight controls. So let's bring them back. Flight controls are free and correct. Trim 6 units. Always forget about the trim in this plane. And then we can do the flaps as well. So trim is 6 units. Flaps 50%. Electric roll trim set, toga button pressed, cast messages checked, and seats must be in the normal upright position. They are. Okay, before taxi checklist. Park and brake. That one is hidden down here, so always something worth looking at. And is released. Luckily, we can easily check this on the CAS over here. So park and brake is released, and the brakes are checked. Before taxi checklist complete. Leading us up to the before takeoff, so let's go ahead, bring back our charts, straight ahead, right, left. Easy as that. I'll put the landing lights on for taxi, and that should be all we need. So, brakes are off. We'll try not to kill anybody over here, even though I've got no clue what these guys are doing here. But that looks alright. Okay, we'll simply take it across the stand over here, because there is just nobody in the area. Then we can go over to the right, towards runway 07. It's quite a strong headwind over here, I would say about 10 knots or so. Well, quite strong 10 knots, but for a small plane like this, I suppose that counts. Okay, quick takeoff briefing. Left seat takeoff, runway 07, flaps 50%, noise abatement procedure number 2, accelerating at 1,000 feet. We can quickly check if we have pre-selected that correctly in the flight plan. VNAV. So VNAV is enabled, FMS speed 110, and we've got a maximum rate climb selected over here. Transition altitude, I don't know why I cannot change this. This should be 5,000 obviously in Germany. And that is alright for me. So got the VNAV system correctly set up. Takeoff speeds 90-94, and 110 is going to be our safety speed on the way out. We are going to cross class Echo airspace on the way, so we'll put the autopilot in early, and then we'll maintain a good look outside to make sure that we do not accidentally run into anything. And that's really it. Emergencies in case of engine failure, no immediate turnbacks below 1,000 feet altitude. So if there is anything, we can always land straight at. There's plenty of fields in the area, and if we need to, a couple of forests as well. And that should really be it. Let's go out with a checklist. So, Departure briefing complete, then landing lights are on. Propede switch. Here it is. Propede switch on, engine ice protection system off, wing stabilizer ice protection off, CAS messages checked, trim 6 degrees, flaps 50%, verify takeoff emergency battery CAS message is not displayed, it is not. Okay, and that's the before takeoff checklist. Complete. Okay, cool. The last thing that we have here is the normal takeoff checklist, and we are just about going to read through it, and then we'll take a flying. So we've got brakes hold, thrust lever into takeoff position, engine instruments check normal, brake release, rotate between 80 and 90 knots. We're going to do it at 90 because we're rather heavy. Pitch attitude 5 degrees, landing gear up with a positive rate, flaps up at 150 knots clear of obstacles, and then airspeed per climb table, we are going to use VNAV for that. That's going to be the normal takeoff checklist. So, with that, we are pretty much all ready to go. Let's quickly select our charts back, and I want my full nav display. And that should bring me to the control on the left side here, and over here, oops, I want my departure chart. Okay, runway 07, here it is. So that is what we're looking for. And with that, we're ready to go. Brake is released, flaps are out. Clear on the right, clear on the left. Okay, aligned up on 07, kilometer 5,000 feet. Let's go. Holding the brakes. Thrust to full. We got the takeoff thrust indication here. Thrust is set. Brakes off. Speed alive. 60 knots. V1 rotate. So we're climbing, gear up, positive rate. $150 knots, almost at least. We're clear of obstacles, so flaps up. Okay, accelerating towards 165 knots. Getting a nice rate of climb here already. And that's pretty much what we're looking for. So, nav, flight level change, autopilot. And with that, the autopilot takes us flying. Also, we can now put in the auto throttle, which is going to automatically set the climb thrust. So we've got the climb thrust set, maintaining 165 knots, and the autopilot is climbing us out nicely. Okay, that looks like a good takeoff to me. Then let's go ahead and read the climb checklist. Oh, interesting that it shows twice. Anyway, thrust lever, set MCT, engine parameters monitor, cabin pressure monitor. So we got the cabin pressure down here. It's nicely climbing. Ice protection as required, and altimeters to standard on the transition level. We will do that in a few moments. I'll just click the checklist item away already. And then bring it back to the nav map. Like this. Okay, we are planned at flight level 270, so let's go ahead and climb it all the way up. In the meantime, we have a look at the autopilot doing its job, and we are constantly looking outside as well. And here we go. Okay, 270 is checked. Transition altitude, set standard, passing 49, climbing 270. Okay, climbing up nicely, and we are well on the way. So, let's do a very quick recap of our departure and what I think of the Vision Jet until now. And I have to say I really like what I'm seeing. So, the plane does what it's supposed to do. The working title G3000 is just an amazing navigation suit that we have in here. And the Navigraph Chart Edition and SimRead import functions are really, really cool as well. So, honestly, if you're looking for a plane that gets you from A to B at jet speeds, this one does about 300 knots true airspeed in the cruise. So if you're looking for something like that, so far, everything looks really good. Now, we are obviously going to keep flying towards Kassel, and I'm going to accelerate this a little bit, as I'm sure it is going to get boring for you. However, what I want to do before that is just to get our iPad out again, and then check a really nice feature, which we have in here in the Volta tab, and that is active noise reduction. So I'm not changing anything in my simulator settings right now, but listen to this. Can you hear how the sound becomes totally different when you turn on the active noise reduction? I have to say they nailed this one. They really nailed it. And I've been using Bose ANR in all my flights in the 737, and the effect that they've added is just really, really spot on. So I really like this. I do know flight simmers tend to love to hear their aircraft though. For that reason, for the remainder of the video, I'm going to turn the active noise reduction off. But just be aware, it is here, and this is it off again. By the way, I'll cycle it once more. Listen to that sound effect that you're going to hear. Can you hear those little sound bumps that they've included? Really neat detail. I really have to say, really neat detail. I gotta love it. Okay, so let's fly it like this. And then I see you all a little bit later as we start our descent preparation. Alright, we reached our cruising altitudes. The FMS has transitioned into cruise mode, and you can see it is slowly increasing its speed towards the target of 0.52. Now, if it doesn't reach that, don't be surprised there. Aircraft like this have a tendency to have target cruise speeds at very high altitudes that you actually don't reach while the engine remains at maximum continuous thrust. So just look at the TAS indication down here, where we have 290 already. This should go to something around 300, 305 or 310. And then we basically have our cruising speeds. So we are in cruise now, and we can use our time in order to have a look at our arrival. So we're going to fly towards Kassel, and this is what the airport itself looks like. So we've got 2,500 meter runway in the direction of 2709. If we have a quick look into the current weather over Kassel, then right now it is 360 at 5, slightly variable, so we can really left into both directions. I'm going to favor runway 27 because the approach is a little bit nicer, the terrain is a little bit nicer down there, so that's what we are going to go with. So for the approaches, ILS approach, runway 27, and it is going to start at Luxux. So let's go ahead and program that into our arrival. ILS 27 from Luxor. Load approach. Okay. And now the airplane VNAV system should do its magic. Here we go. And predict our top of descent for us. We do have VNAV available in this, and we have the VNAV key down here, so the airplane is basically going to do it all for us. Okay, so we could either go ahead now and just use the mouse cursor, have a look what our routing looks like. My airplane. Where have we gone? Who has my route gun now? Oh, looks like I moved a little bit too far. There you go, that's more like it. I don't have luck today doing this. I just don't have luck. Anyway, we can choose a different method as well. So, quite an easy way. Give me my cursor on the left side. I want my chart on here. Go out, go back in. Here we go. Castle ILS 27. And I'm happy with the plan view right now. So, what do we have then? You can scroll through the flight plan list down here if you go into the active flight plan, and you can basically move it like this. So like this we can cross-check the entire arrival here. And it looks like the first thing over here, lovely Microsoft stuff. Let's remove this. There we go, that's better. Also calculate our top of descent again, which is 6 minutes away from now. So let's see that. Out of Luxor, we're going to fly on 200 heading, 7.2 miles, about Victor Kilo 102. And that one's above 4,000 feet, as we can see over here, and above 4,000 feet in the database as well. Then we continue on the track, 4.8 miles, Victor Kilo 105. And we have 3,000 feet as minimum en route altitude here, and we've got 3,000 in here as well as minimum en route altitude. From there, we're going to join the final approach, and let's have a look into the profile for that. Starting at lull 2. Here we go, starting at lull 2. So we've got lull 2, 2,500, 3-degree glide, and in here we have a 3-degree glide. And that's going down to the minimums. For the minimums, let's have a look at this. And we can see it's 1,002 feet, so let's quickly set that. Utilities. Why did I set my minimum again on this plane? Is it on PFD? Yeah, it's PFD. Okay. So, Barrow 1002. Enter. Right, here's our minimum, 1002. And then if we go back to checklist, options, header, then we can now cross-check our missed approach, which is going to be climb straight ahead, 5.6 Delta Kilo Sierra. So we've got Delta Kilo Sierra, 5.6, and then turn right on 131 inbound to Warburg VOR, climb to 4,000. So we've got Warburg at 4,000. And that's pretty much all we need. Okay, very good. So, like that, we are done with the approach chart. Or with the setup, we can quickly do our frequencies. So, command nav. So frequency 109.3, and that is automatically inserted by the system. Very good. Then we can tune 13.7 on the standby. Okay, 13.7 on the standby for the mid approach, and actually we need one of them on Castle, 11.5. So let's use 11.5 on here. Like this. Okay, and actually we could fly this with a split setup so that we switch that active on the number 2 straight away, so that we get our TME at all times. If we are doing that, then we also quickly have to go into the PFD settings once more, because it means we will need our bearing pointers, like that. Okay, and that is our approach setup pretty much completed. So, quick thing for us here to check. Airport elevation is going to be hardly readable. Oh, come on. Probably gotta go out of this, and then I can't go. Okay. So, destination elevation should be 802. We got 216 here. Why is that? And most importantly, can I change it? Probably can. I would expect it somewhere under utilities. But this one I'm actually not sure about where to find it exactly. No, not here. Where else might it be? Performance? Probably not. But nonetheless, we can use this to pre-select our landing speed box. But as far as I remember, it should have been here in utilities, but not 100% sure. So I might be wrong there as well. In any case, the altitude is going to reset itself. What's nice to see here is that the cabin altitude system has actually worked for the most part. So we brought the cabin up, differential pressure is looking good, and that is mostly what we will be looking for. The rest of it, well, it's probably on me that the destination elevation is not correct, because I just don't know where to find this piece of information. Probably there, and I simply don't know about it. Aircraft systems, maybe? Environment and pressure, can we select something in there? No, we can't. Okay, so be it. In any case, what we can do, however, is to go through the checklist real quick and read the cruise checks, which is basically thrust lever as required, aft protection as required, and engine instrument system monitor. Cruise check is complete, and next up is the descent checklist. So, if any of you knows where to find the landing field elevation, then do let me know, please, because obviously it is going to be part of the next checklist. So let's read that. Descent checks. Thrust lever as required, landing field elevation. Yeah, checked as good as we can. Ice protection is off. Altimeter at transition altitude. Going local, obviously. And the settings and seatbelt secure. Descent checklist complete. And local QNH is 1020. So why don't we quickly go ahead and pre-select that? There we go. 1020 pre-selected. Okay, top of descent in 16 seconds, so let's go ahead. Altitude going down, VNAV going arm. And here we go, we've got a VNAV path capture, we can see it coming in over here. Auto throttle is reducing the speed slightly to Mach 0.5 in order to get a little bit more margin to the top there. And like that, we can start our descent. Okay, level 100 set. So a quick understanding here of our VNAV indications that we get. We've got the current active VNAV profile on the lower right over here, which basically tells us the next restriction, the time to the bottom of descent or the time to the top of descent if you haven't reached it yet. The vertical speed target that comes out of the flight path angle target here of 3 degrees. So do note, this is a 3-degree descent and not necessarily a thrust idle descent. So this is a little simpler VNAV system than we have it, for example, on the 737. But that is by design and by the real airplane as well. Because if you went thrust idle with this now, then you would get such a low deck angle that it just wouldn't be comfortable anymore. So for that reason, that is how VNAV systems work on the majority of business jets. So yeah, then of course the vertical speed target resulting from that FPA and the vertical speed required. And on the bottom of that we have the vertical deviation, which is 31 feet at the moment. So looking at this, we are 31 feet off the target profile. On the PFD then, we got the next altitude restriction, which is 4,000 above, and we got the vertical speed target shown over here as well. So like that, even if you were flying manually with the flight director turned off, you would have your target vertical speed over here, and like that you could simply fly the airplane manually on the VNAV without the flight director system or the autopilot VNAV mode. Obviously we have our VNAV deviation scale over here as well. So that is what the targets look like on the G3000. For the sake and fun of it, let's do a quick direct. We're currently going towards Rohrbeck, but let's say we wanted to fly to Luxus. Okay. We can either just select the direct from here, or we go down here on Luxus, press the direct key, now it's flying us directly to Luxus. We can see this also updates VNAV. So we get our VNAV profile recalculated, currently 250 feet high, and the VS target has increased a tiny bit there as well, because obviously we are cutting short a little bit on our route, so we have to descend a little bit faster. So let's put on a little bit of acceleration in order to get down a bit quicker. Crossing a little bit of clouds here. Let's turn on the engine anti-ice, just to be on the safe side. And here we're clear again. So, engine anti-ice and go back up. So, overall, very well guided by VNAV so far. Now, we still have a couple miles to run, and the airplane is maintaining 250 knots. And as we can see, looking into the VNAV descent options over here, as soon as we're 10 miles from the destination and below 3,000 feet AGL, it's going to reduce the speed towards 200 knots. If we want to go below that, we will have to use some manual speed control, which we can always use down here. So if you want to go manual speed, then use this. Click it to manual, and then you can use the wheel down here in order to adjust the target airspeed. For now, I'm going to keep it all on the autopilot, as the autopilot is doing a really good job over here, and there is really not much that I have to add to it. The flight management system is doing exactly what it should. Our next altitude is going to be 3,000, and I'll just set the altitude target down at 2,500, because, keep in mind, we've got the 3,000 up here from VNAV, so VNAV isn't going to descend below it anyway. Also nice to see that we've got our little chart symbol over here. So you can see we are nicely approaching the ILS over there, and with that, let's go to local QNH 1020. Passing 4,400, descending 2,500, no flags, and the temper altimeter, well, we don't have any. Okay, let's do the approach checklist. Approach briefing complete, seat must be upright, ice protection off, lights on, and flaps and airspeed to go. So we are within 10 miles from the airport. You can see our target speed has decreased towards 200 knots. The airplane is decelerating nicely, and we are right within the glide slope over here. Localizer should come alive any moment. Here it does. So let's press the approach button. And once we reach the final approach fix, the airplane should transition into approach mode automatically. What's a little bit surprising for me is that it doesn't capture while we've basically just been crossing the glide slope and the localizer. So I'm a little bit surprised that it doesn't capture automatically here, but apparently that's how the airplane works. At least in the simulator it is. I'm not 100% sure for the real one with the localizer armed. Here we go, localizer captured. And glide slope should come in any moment. Well, let's get the speed target down. We're looking for 140 knots for the approach. Like this. Okay, glide slope capture. Missed approach altitude. 4,000 feet. Ah. So down there is our runway. Okay, what's the flap limit speed? 190. Perfect, we're below that. Flaps 50. And gear down. Speed target back towards 110, and that I will use for the approach. Okay, flaps 100 from 150 knots, so flaps 100. And let's read the rest of the checklist. Before landing checks, landing gear down and locked, flaps 100%, cabin pressure differential. Well, this is interesting, that certainly shouldn't be negative. Oh, it should, because the cabin altitude didn't get along. Well, that's interesting, so there is something wrong with the cabin altitude system then it seems. Windshield IPS off, autopilot, and airspeed to come. Okay, nice. So we made it into the short final. Let's go ahead, use manual thrusts. Just move the thrust lever, that's automatically going to do. And here we go. So speed target back to the approach speed, which is going to be 100. I can't really look down anymore to reset those values right now, so for that reason I'm just going to fly off the speed bug. But here we go. Looks good. Minimum. Continue. Again, the puppy is totally off. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, manual thrust. Put it down on the aiming point. Or at least within the touchdown zone. Here we are. Nice. Sometimes a little bit hard to control on the ground. At least for me it is. So something that Navigraph still wants to implement is that when you touch down and stay on the ground, the chart over here should change automatically to the ground chart. That's something that's not quite implemented yet. However, if we just about go in here, we can get it to the ground chart like this. Ooh, that was a little bit dynamic to get off the runway here. But here we are. Welcome to Kassel-Calden Airport, the most important airport in the entirety of Germany. Don't even have a parking chart available over here, but that is fine for me, because after all, ultimately this is all we're going to need. We'll come with the runway to the left side over here, we're going to park over there, and once we clear the runway, we are going to read the after landing checklist. Not the landing checklist, the after landing checklist. That one. Okay, we're well clear of the runway, and we've made the exit free for anyone else to use, so let's do the after landing stuff. So, flaps, up, wing and stabilizer ice protection systems, all off. Then we got the engine ice protection off, pro beat, that's located over here. Off, external lights as required, brakes checked, after landing checklist complete. Next up is going to be the shutdown, So let's go ahead and taxi ourselves to the parking stand. So, before we're going to shut the airplane down and while we taxi in, let me give you the feedback of what I think of the Cirrus Vision Jet with the latest update. And I like it. I really like it. This was a lot of fun to fly. Now, we need to differentiate a little bit with the stuff that's done by Working Title and by Navigraph and the stuff that's done by the airplane developer, because obviously most of the avionics over here are done by Working Title and by Navigraph in respect to the charts and the SimBrief import, while the rest of the plane is done by the airplane's developer, and they did a really good integration there. The checklist system, by the way, is by the developer as well. So they did a really good integration. I'm really happy with it. It's a lot of fun to fly. The airplane's got a lot of really interesting features there. Just if I can park it right up here. So the airplane's got a lot of really interesting features, and I can only recommend you to try this one out. It's available in the marketplace and also at quite some third-party stores. And it is a heck of a lot of fun to fly. And also, how many times will you have the opportunity to fly a single-engine jet aeroplane? It climbs to flight level 310, it does 310 knots in cruise, true airspeed, and it has a range of approximately 950 nautical miles, providing you with a very good distance for anything you might want to do with your friends and family. So, very nice little airplane, and now with all the recent updates it has seen, it is absolutely worth it as well. A lot of fun to fly, highly recommendable, and now we're going to shut it down. So, thrust lever idle, it is. Note, allow engine to remain at ground idle for 2 minutes. Prior to shutdown, we did that. Engine IPS switch off. Bleed air switch. Yes. Where's my click spot? Here it is. Off. Oxygen master switch. Off. Lights. That's going to be the landing light off. We'll keep the strobe light on. Off. Okay, caution. To avoid unnecessary FADEX system faults, do not remove aircraft power until N2 is less than 24%. Okay, so N2 less than 24. Let's go ahead and engine switch off. Oh no, that was wrong. Engine stop. That is the one I wanted to press. Actually, no. It was right what I did. So, engine off, engine master switch off, and then engine button stop. That is how we do it. Such a simple airplane, and I mess it up, of course. Okay, and when N2 is below 24%, we put the caps pin in place, so we can do that via the tablet down here. Also put off the headphones, here they are. Okay, so statics, we can put the carbon protectors back in place. And we can also put our box in place. We're good. Okay, so caps pin, where is it? Is it part of the storage cover? Probably is. Or not. To be honest, I can't find the caps pin right now, so my apologies. That is certainly on me. But we're going to keep it at that, though. Let's not put the storage cover in place. We are going to continue to fly. So, caps pin is in place. Let's just pretend it is. Generators off, and then battery switches off. Park and brake as required. Airplane secure. Okay, so batteries off. Here we are. No, thank you. I don't know why that came back. Turned it off 1,000 times, but that's what it is. Okay, and now we should be able to put the pin in place as soon as we have set the park and brake. So brake is set. Storage cover, well, to be honest, I don't know that. And here the caps pin is in place as well now. So it was the park and brake that I forgot to set. My mistake. Alright, so here we are. Welcome to Kassel-Calden Airport. I certainly hope that you have enjoyed flying this one. Now, for the fun of it, let's quickly review our landing rate with Sim Toolkit Pro. You guys know that I love this tool by now, do you? So I'm just about loading it up right now. 3, 2, 1... Give me the enhanced landing report, please. 3, 2, 1. Here it is. Okay, so let's quickly review that landing. We landed on 27, touchdown just past the aiming point, but well within the touchdown zone, which is absolutely alright. Exactly on the center line, 27 feet a minute. That is probably a little bit too soft to call it good, but nonetheless, that is what we're aiming for. Well, that is what we're aiming for to make our passengers happy. Let's put it that way. Officially, of course, we aren't. So, very neat little airplane to fly. I can absolutely recommend you to check it out if business jets are anything for you, or if the middle between private aviation and business aviation is something for you. And finally, I surely hope you enjoyed this one. Do let me know in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to see you all again very, very soon.